Wally appeared in the UK in 1989 and soon travelled to the USA, changing his name to Waldo. As he became more popular, he acquired new names in new countries and his looks began to change. Why? Well, it's a character development story that starts way back in the 16th century with Italian painter Giuseppe Arcimboldo. Now, this is his painting called Vertumnus. You can think of it as a sort of "Where's the turnip?" They were more easily entertained in those days. Arcimboldo's weird paintings still fascinate us and have inspired picture puzzles ever since. Hidden picture puzzles are a perfect game for human brains that love to find patterns and be the first to find things. I remember these kinds of puzzle pictures in dusty old books at my grandparents' house when I was a kid. I loved them, and it's still a challenge to find all the hidden images.
Can you find 20 pretty summer girls hidden in the picture? And what about First World War ambulance dogs?
Possibly the first time a whole book contained a hidden character was in the 1970s when Richard Scarry hid Goldbug in the much-loved book Cars and Trucks and Things That Go. There he is. Look, hiding in there. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Next, in 1981 came The Great Green Mouse Disaster by Martin Wadell and Philippe Dupasquier, a chase story set in a grand hotel where performing mice escape. You can follow the mouse man through the story or follow the story that goes on in each room as you turn each page. Children love to look for hidden things and get a real buzz when they find them. And then came Wally, or Waldo, or whatever you know him as. Waldo marches across full-page spreads that are filled with tiny people doing the most amazing things. Your job is to find him. It's not easy. Wadell gave Wally a red striped t-shirt which sets him apart from all the other characters. But you will often find other people and objects with red stripes too to put you off. And there are just so many other people for Wally to hide amongst. But the thing that made Waldo, or Wally, a superstar was the fact that he is an instantly recognisable character. Easy for teachers to dress up as on book days without feeling they look too stupid, and great for advertisers to stick on the side of products. Over the years, with all that walking, Waldo has lost a bit of weight. As the franchise has grown, his design has been refined into a simple image that can be recreated anywhere and be instantly recognised. He never changes, so there is no doubt who it is in the picture. Now, before I show you how he is drawn so you can draw your own Wally, Waldo, Charlie, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and ring the bell for notifications for more videos about children's book illustration, creation and drawing techniques. Now, how is he drawn? Whenever I analyse a character, I like to get a bit of scrap paper and I kind of work out, so I think his head's going to be inside the hat there a bit. So that's the head height. And then I like to, let's put that there, I like to sort of mark out the heads to see how he's constructed. If we draw lines across, then we can get a feel for how his body is sort of distributed. And it just makes it easier to draw. If you're creating your own characters, you have to draw them consistently throughout a whole book. And it's really good to have this sort of a plan so that you know right along the midline there, midway down, that's where the hand starts. So that's the end of the sleeve, that's where the hand starts. You can draw him at any size you like then, and you sort of split that into three, and you know his head's going to be about there. And his body's going to be sort of down to about there. Hands will come to there, and legs will come. And then we'll have a little bit of a hat on the top. beep. These are the consistent proportions that will allow you to draw the same character consistently page after page. So I'm going to imagine that I need to fit this character in at that height. It's just a random kind of thing. And I'm going to think that's about halfway. We can split that into two. You just have to pretty much guess that. If you're really crazy about it, you can stop measuring. But I'm just doing it by eye because it's an exact but a slightly elastic kind of exactness. And we're going to want Wally's head in there. He's got a kind of a brain box like that, and then a straight down, very square chin, bit of a neck, and then that's the midway line, so his t-shirt is going to stop just slightly above, and this is just a shape. And when you start analysing, it is just these very, very basic kind of shapes. And then he's coming around like that and down, and that starts about there, and it's just maybe that's a bit too thick. And then this is going to come out that way. His arm is going to come right to the midline, and this one is going to sort of come down in a bit of a curve to there. And then, well, I'm not sure about this hand. So we have a thumb, and that's coming into so let's put the walking stick in like that, which is going to come down there. And we have a sausage resting on the top and another sausage there. And then here we just have 1, 2, 3 sausages. That's pretty simple. I'm just going to draw an angle like that. On the top here we have our hat, which has flattened over the years. So it used to be much more rounded, and now it's sort of flattened a bit. And we've got some little bits of hair there, and he's kind of his hair is waving away like he's whoosh, walking into the wind. And then we have the ears, and these ears are sort of a consistent design from the original drawing. And we want the glasses. And his great big sort of blobby nose has turned into a little chubby nose like that. And he has a sort of a slightly silly grin. And we want to get these down to, so in fact his shoes are starting about there, so we're not going right the way down to the bottom. And we'll take his legs to about there. His trousers, take his trouser legs, his pant legs, if you insist. In the UK we call them trousers. And he has a pocket. It's just a straight curve like that. Now the other thing that has changed over the years is that I think when you kind of see Wally on a poster or something like that, I think he's been drawn in a vector program and from the original. So the original has been drawn in either brush or a dip pen, probably a dip pen, I should think. And in the meantime, then he's been kind of smartened up for the international market and has been sort of put into this. There's actually a kind of a wavy line. I'm just going to get this chin in there, and there's a bit of something there. And if you're looking how to do ears, these are actually quite good. So if you draw a line down like that, and then up and around, a line down there, and then go up and around, and those ears have been just slightly tidied up over the years, but are actually quite very consistent with the way he was originally drawn. And then we got the glasses, ever-present glasses, which should be quite thick, so you can go over them again with your pen because they're kind of big, bold glasses. And then that nose, and then this kind of inane grin like that. And then we want a neck, And then his t-shirt is very much, it's like a sort of a bell shape. And we can take that around to there in a bit of a curve. And we have a sort of a line there. And then that'll be his t-shirt arm. This one has a very gentle curve. It's all beautifully designed. It's just refined is the word. Refined and refined. So apparently, originally, the book didn't have Wally in. It was just this amazing book with lots going on in different kind of scenes, and you could kind of look in, oh, look at this, look at that, look at this. And right at the last minute, before the publishers, Walker Books, took it to the Bologna Children's Book Fair to try and get some international interest in it, they had this idea about, why don't we put a character in there? And Martin Wadell did a couple of spreads and came up with Wally and put them in there. And when they got to Bologna, people apparently went crazy. They were crowding around their stall looking to try and find Wally. And Wally was just an instant success, and everybody wanted to do their Waldos and Charlies and things. So it was just literally an instant success. You know, as a children's author, that's what you really hope for. And every time you have a book and the publishers are saying, we're taking this off to Bologna now, then you sit there with, bated breath, waiting to hear, did the world go crazy for it? And it's only a few that really get that kind of interest. So we have this pocket here, and this is very consistent. It's just this curve like that. And I'm going to take this trouser leg up there, just take it slightly out a bit like that. So it's got a bit of a bottom in there. And then we can bring that leg down to about there. And then he has the zip on the front. And then that leg is going backwards to the bottom of his trouser leg. And then we need to get that walking stick in there. And this is the other thing that's happened over the years. He's got rid of all his clutter. So right at the beginning, obviously, there was just a few weeks, and Martin Wadell thought, oh, got to come up with a character. So, you're off on a journey. So he's got all this stuff lumbered on him. But the real secret of Wally is that he's so obvious. And he just has this big red striped shirt. And you're looking for him. And it should be so easy to find because he's so different to all the other characters in the book. But he's really difficult. And was even more difficult before with all this stuff on him. So that's just been stripped away. And thereafter, it was just him with a walking stick. So you can't say, oh, that's cheating. I couldn't find him there because he was covered in stuff, or he was hidden on scrunched up in a funny pose. It's just the same pose each time. And that is what makes him just so successful. And as a character, children's illustrators are always worried about characters and making them look exactly the same from different angles and expressions, and you don't have any of that worry with Wally. You just draw the same Wally every single time. Now we need to put the boots in there as well. So I'm going to draw the heels first, I think, and then sort of come out like that. And then we're going to want to draw a bit of a curve up. There's like a little bit of an S curve there. And we're going to want a heel, and the sole of the shoe like that. So let's do that. Slight curve. And these are really, really simple. They're just side view shoes. And, if you're just starting out, I think this is a really good lesson in coming up with something really, really simple that you can just reproduce again and again and again without too much hassle. Dry this. Just make sure that's dry before I erase all those pencil lines. And that's the other thing with illustrating. If you're doing those basic drawings underneath, do them very, very gently. If you press too hard, you'll find it really difficult to erase those pencil lines. Now, this is where you could scan it and colour it in Photoshop or something like that. Or you can paint it in watercolours. You know, it's if you're going to do your own character, this is where it all comes down to, you know, what your style is. And I think you could take Wally as a character and actually we're just whooshing across there like that. That's what it seems to do. You could take this character and draw it in a very different way. Maybe you draw it in very fine pencil or something like that. And paint it in watercolor, and you turn it into a very different thing, and that would be your style, and that would make it very obviously your character. But this is done in a very different kind of style. But this is done in the Where's Wally style, which is the Martin Handford style, and it's what he's become known for. This is the thing that illustrators are constantly wanting, is to create their own style. And I think the more you the more you try, the less you're going to achieve it. I think you just have to draw things like this, and every time you draw someone else's character, you learn from it. You think, oh, that's nice, and you'll put that into your next thing, and then it will be a whole mix of things that you've learned from other illustrators and different styles. And so this might be all done on the computer or something, but you think, oh, I really like that, but if I did it in watercolor, it changes it and becomes your style. Doesn't happen quickly. It's something you just have to work at. Oh, and that's very muddied that up, isn't it? Get the hair. And finally, we just get those trousers in it. Pants. And I know someone will be watching. Okay, you haven't done the hands. And yeah, so that is something that quite often happens, and you just getting carried away with it, and you send it off to the publishers. They have to send it back. You haven't coloured in the hands, or you haven't actually drawn the hands. So yeah, that's finished. There's always someone out there with an eagle eye waiting to trip you up. So that's how you draw Wally. If you haven't got a copy of the book yourself, I'll put a link down below to Amazon. Go to the library, get a copy. Or look online to see images of Wally, and just have a go at drawing him, and try to understand what is going on there, and see how are those hands done, how are those shoes done, and how has he got away with doing so little. Well, he's done that because when you look at the books, there are hundreds of other characters in there. I will always say a book is like putting on a play. It's like putting on a performance, and Wally is the main character. All the others are the sort of the subsidiary characters, and they're not drawn quite so clearly, but there's a lot of fun going on in them. And that's where all the energy is really going. Wally is sorted right from the beginning. You know what he's going to look like. It's just where is he going to be? And then there is this extra picture that has to be done with, 500 people in it. There's a lot of drawing. Apparently it takes about 2 months to draw a spread on Where's Wally. So have a really good look really deep into it, and you will learn something that you can take into your practice as an illustrator when you start creating your own really original characters in your own recognisable style. Instantly recognisable style is what you really want. Subscribe now to this channel and ring the bell for notifications for more videos about children's book illustration, creation and drawing techniques, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.